Man, it has been a rough couple weeks. It's been rough for me. It's been rough for a lot of you guys. It's been rough for the fish. I know. We had this Texas storm that came through, this winter storm, and really it just messed everything up. And I want to apologize for not putting out a video sooner, but to be honest, it was the last thing on my mind. Dealing with the freeze, and then I had a lot of damage to the house. I had 23 pipes burst after the temperature started warming up, so I've been dealing with that over the last week, and then we've got the drywall to fix, and it's just been a lot. I know you guys are going through a lot too, but I generally like to put out a video every single week, and I just wasn't able to. Again, it was the last thing on my mind. Been dealing with all of this, but I'll get back to it, I promise. However, today that is what we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about this winter storm that came down. We're going to talk about the freeze. We're going to talk about the fish kill. And I know there's a lot of debate behind that. There's a lot of controversy, whether or not to keep fish, whether or not to release fish, how bad this fish kill really was. And so I'm going to talk about that. We're going to discuss it a little bit, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. All right, so this winter storm, it came down and it hit Texas, and it hit us hard. Some of the coldest temperatures I've ever seen in Texas. It was just absolutely brutal. And before this storm came, a lot of us were really, really worried about those temperatures, specifically the water temperature, because we know as the water temperature drops to a certain level, well, a lot of these fish, they just can't survive. And so the only way for them to survive is to either leave the bays and get into deeper water, or to find deep areas in those bays where that they can go down and they can stay warm. Some bays are equipped with that. I know in Galveston Bay, there's quite a few areas that are really, really deep that fish can go and survive. But as you move down south, well, a lot of those bay systems don't have that. They just don't have anywhere to go, and so we were really, really worried about that. And as the storm passed and things started warming up, our Facebook and Instagram, it was just filled with images and videos of all of these dead fish that didn't survive. I'll show you some of those images and videos. They're not mine. It's just things that have popped up on my feed. I was screenshotting some of them. I was saving some of them, and so I'll show you that. But we absolutely did have a fish kill. It was rough. It was hard to see all of those fish. Some of those fish were huge. I know that down in Matagorda there was over 3 fish that were seen that were over 30 inches. Some of them well over 10 pounds. So it's difficult to watch that, and but even just looking at all of the bait fish that died, there were trout that were dead, there were redfish that were dead, there were sea turtles. It was rough to watch for that entire week. And but I don't think anybody is really debating whether or not there was a fish kill. We know that it happened. I think the big debate here is how bad it really was. Now, I am no expert. I am no marine biologist, but I'm fortunate enough to be able to talk to people who are experts, people that are down there all the time, and get to see that. And I've listened to what some of these people have said and looked at. And so we're at a situation now where a lot of people are just confused, and there's a lot of controversy in what to do next. So let's talk about that. All right, now it seems like the big debate right now is whether or not to keep fish or release fish. And I've seen the extremes on both of that, and I've seen on social media people having debates over that, and arguments, and full-on fights. I mean, social media right now is, as a fisherman, it's crazy. People have lost their minds on the internet. It's entertaining, I'll tell you that. But I think the biggest problem here, though, is that we do have people that are on both extreme sides, and I really like to find myself somewhere in the middle where I can listen to both sides, I can understand everyone's point of view, and kind of make up my decisions and my opinions from that. You've got guys that are on one side saying, there was no fish kill, the fish are fine, everybody needs to stop freaking out about it. And realistically, we have the evidence. We know that there was a fish kill. We know that tons of fish have died. There's images and videos all over the place. So we know that it's there. And to be so incredibly naive and irresponsible about that I think that's a problem. On the other side, you've got people that, you know, are acting like every fish in the bay has died and there's no fish left at all. And I think that's a problem too. In fact, I've seen a few people mention that, you know, they need to go ahead and lower the limit to, you know, 0 for a year or two. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am very much against that. And the biggest reason that I'm against that is because once you do that, it is very, very, very hard to get it back. I mean, you look at the history of limits being changed, they almost always go down. They never come back up. It's very, very rare. So if we lose that, it's going to be really, really difficult to get those limits back. And we don't want that. But we want to be, you know, conservative of our fish and our fishery. And we want to make sure that we have the best fishery for years and years to come. And so I'd like to see more people take it into, you know, into their own ideas and really make that change personally rather than being forced to. Now, for someone like me that releases 95% of the fish I catch, it's not a big deal for me. I've been doing it all along. I don't need a fish killed to tell me that I should release fish. I only keep what I absolutely need, what my family is absolutely going to eat. Anything other than that, I'm throwing back. Like I said, I throw back 95% of the fish I catch. However, I'm not like every fisherman. I know that everybody's different. I know that some of you guys go down there and you only go, you know, once a month, and, you know, you catch your limit and it's to feed your family and, you know, maybe some of your friends. And I'm not going to sit there and tell you how to fish. Okay, you know, that's your right. We all have different ways of fishing. We're all fishing for different reasons. I fish a lot. I fish constantly. I don't need to keep every fish or even, you know, a portion of the fish that I catch. You know, it would be impossible for me to eat fish that fast. You know, but everybody's different. And so going forward from this, I do like to be in the middle. I like to, you know, hear both sides. And if you want to keep fish, I'd love to see you keep fish. But on the other hand, I will encourage people to release fish when they can. Release more fish than you have in the past. It's easy for a lot of us that have been doing it for a long time to release most of our fish. But for some of you guys that don't, you know, I will encourage it. I will encourage you to release what you can, but I'm not going to badmouth you. I'm not going to talk bad about the people that are keeping fish. I'm not going to sit there and make, you know, these hateful posts about, you know, the way things are. I just think that we all need to understand and respect our fishery, and you know, we need to look at the future. You know, if we're all keeping every fish, you know, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a big problem. And if you are one of those people that are catching and keeping every single fish right now, and you're you know, showing these pictures of full stringers, I'm gonna tell you right now, in 9 months, in a year, don't be the guy bitching because they lowered that limit, because you know, you could have done something. But I'm not gonna get on to you about keeping fish. If you want to keep your fish, that's your right. You're legal to do so. I just encourage you to throw back some, release what you can, only keep what you need, and we can go from there. I know that there are a lot of organizations that have kind of come from this, which is really, really great. I've seen people, like, they have the Release Over 20 initiative going, or the program going on right now. I've seen a lot of people posting in that. They have new Facebook groups about releasing fish, and all of those are really great. I love to see stuff like that. In fact, for a long time, well before this, I've always enjoyed watching people release big fish than I have seeing full stringers at a cleaning table. I just enjoy it. I like watching those videos. I like watching, you know, seeing those photos of these awesome, you know, 28-inch trout being released. It's just great to see. I've always liked it. Beyond that, we have things like the CCA. The CCA has completely eliminated the trout division of the Star Tournament, which I think is wonderful. In fact, before this last year, I said the same thing. You know, for someone that is about the conservation of fish, it's odd to me that they do a tournament rewarding people killing the biggest fish that we have. So I'm glad to see that. And I know that they're going to be adding a lot more to that. If you're not a member of that, or if you don't get those emails, I would definitely go check it out, because they are doing big things. They're still doing a big tournament. They're adding more divisions. I don't know all the info on that yet. In fact, I don't even think they've released it, but it is exciting to see. I'm glad that they're finally doing that. And I think that, you know, once some of these reports come back, I'm really hoping that CCA sticks to that over the next few years, and we just, you know, we really try to focus on the conservation of fish rather than, you know, how big a fish we can catch. But I am into catching big fish, so I definitely will target those 30-inch trout, but I can guarantee you 100% I'll be releasing every one. I release any trout over 20, but that's just me. I've been doing that all along. So, all right, guys. Well, I would love to hear your opinion on all of this. I know everybody's got their opinion on whether or not to keep fish or release fish, so I'd love to hear yours. Leave me a comment below. Send me a message. You know, get a hold of me. I'm genuinely curious about what everybody thinks of this. I have my opinion, but again, do what makes you happy. Go out there, catch fish. If you want to release them, that would be awesome. I'd love to see it. But if you want to keep a few too, you know, it's your right. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment below, and we'll see you next time.